If you're a World War II player, you will love this Cold War vehicle, and it actually makes me want to play a bit of Cold War. And if you're a Cold War player, you'll find that this tank is actually a ton of fun. Is it the most competitive vehicle in the game? No. But is it a competitive vehicle in the game? Absolutely. The K1, the Season Pass challenge, and one of the positives of this update is that this one is one that you can pick up for the Season Pass. It is available for everyone and you don't have to pay 6,000 gold for it. It's just the simple 2,000 gold Season Pass. It's the top tier rank 100 reward for the season. So just as a brief thing, the rental, that is because I'm a CC for the game and therefore Wargaming give it to me so I can review it for you guys, so when you guys end up getting it from the Season Pass, I can at least give you an idea of how you can play it or whatever. So with that out of the way, the K1. What is this vehicle all about? We have an amazing replay coming up. Well, it's all about how you can use this tank properly, because it is a very novel tank that isn't actually so unique when it comes to its gun statistics. But what makes it very, very fun is the brilliant damage per minute of nearly 6,500 when you got it fully kitted out, which make it very, very strong for dealing damage, as well as the 19 degrees of gun depression. 19 degrees of gun depression. This makes it one of the best, if not the best, hold down monster when you can actually get it working. Now, you're going to see me use this tank in a variety of different ways, and we've got one battle which really showcases what this tank can do in all forms and all senses of the word. But the K1, we have set it up in such a way that we get better accuracy by using gun stabilizer. We've got advanced loader for increased DPM and improved ventilation for just a boost of a variety of different things. Could you run a speed boost mechanic in this thing? Or a speed boost equipment such as traction system or advanced powertrain? Absolutely, and it could be really, really nice to do that. But because the top speed is actually pretty good, alongside a 23.5 horsepower to ton ratio, actually makes it pretty good. It's pretty good at being able to get up to top speed. Maintaining the speed is pretty good as well, with some decent terrain resistances. Not the best in the game, but definitely really up there with some of the better ones. And you don't feel like you're very, very sluggish for a heavy tank in quotation marks. Although I'd rather call this thing a medium if you're used to playing World War II or maybe whatever. But I highly recommend jumping into this tank. Even as a World War II player, it feels like a World War II tank in Cold War, but has all of the things that you'd expect from a Cold War vehicle. So it actually plays really, really well. And I think Wargaming deserve at least a little bit of praise for this tank in particular with this new season. I think that they did a really good job of making a fairly balanced vehicle, whilst also giving it some nuance that allows it to get that 19 degrees of gun depression, where a lot of other vehicles don't. Now, there is one thing that gun depression relies on, which is using the siege mode mechanic, whereby you have to be on a ridge line, and it works similar to if you've seen a UDES in the game, the UDES 1516, where your back end of your tank raises up and that gives you more gun depression. It's the same sort of thing. Same with the Swedish tank destroyers. It's that same system, except this one actually gets a turret, which also has the ability to depress its gun and then depress it even further using that hydropneumatic suspension, which makes it really cool. It also looks pretty cool, which I think is something that is to be said when you look at a vehicle. You want to feel like it is something that you like looking at, I guess, if you're playing the game, which I think this one pretty much looks kind of cool. But the whole point is that this thing is a demolisher of opponents. It really does dish out so much DPM. Its accuracy is really good. Its aim time is good. With a 4.69 second reload to do 500 damage, it feels incredible. Combine that with a 155% silver bonus, so you do make silver in this vehicle. Yeah, it really does add to the flavour of playing a vehicle like this. Now, obviously, you could use your silver boosters. I didn't actually have them on when we were playing, so you kind of see the raw silver amount that we made in the games that we played. I also didn't load any premium rounds in this thing, which, in all fairness, I probably would now because, yep, it can be a bit of a problem, and you'll see why in the video. But either way, let's actually jump into the gameplay now and stop faffing around on the stat screen. You guys get the idea. It's a fast DPM vehicle that has gun depression. Let's jump in. So the gameplay for today is on Pearl River. And this is kind of an interesting map for a vehicle that has really good DPM, because there's always lots of opportunities on this map to farm damage. And we're certainly going to see that. You're going to see how quickly you can pick up a lot of damage in a game, as well as you're also going to see essentially how much kind of flexibility this tank has with its gun depression, with its mobility, that sort of stuff as well. So it really is a nice little combination of a good tank on a decent map, played by someone that's played probably way too much World of Tanks for most people's liking. But either way, in this game what we're doing is we're coming into the center of the map. Now this is obviously where you can get a lot of shots. You can also get hit by a lot of opponents when you do come into a position like this, so you've got to be a little bit careful. You can't do anything rash. So we're kind of sticking by, waiting to see how the game's playing out. We're not entirely sure where the enemy team are gonna be throughout this game. We know that they are pushing quite heavily on the northeastern side of the map. But we do find ourselves a little Leclerc who for some reason is in the middle of the map. I mean, Cold War things going on. And he's quickly taken out, picking us up nearly 870 damage already within 2 shots within just about 5 seconds. I mean, you can see how crazy it can be when you do load up those rounds and you find opponents to fire at. We went for a blind fire there, can't see anyone in it, wasn't expecting that, but now it's time to actually go over to the northeast to at least support some of these teammates who are over here, because yeah, there's a lot of vehicles pushing this side. And here we go, we start off with an M1A2 who hopefully we can get a shot onto. Not quite. Can we get it now? We do, but we aim for badly at the front of the turret from the side, but now we're going for kind of the center of mass on the hull armor, which is okay. We're definitely going to pen that sort of thing. You can see we're aiming kind of for the back end of the vehicle, aiming slightly ahead. That one actually goes to the right of where we're aimed, so brilliant. And then we put another one in. Now we've got an M1 who's out in the open, which is just free farm right now. We're up to 3.3k damage after bouncing quite a few as well, and you can see that we're also spotting for the team. The view range on the tank is okay, and so yeah, it just feels like a nice combination of everything. And so yeah, you can see AMX40, don't quite know what he's doing, but he's just decided to YOLO into our base. Not a good idea. We put one into the side of the Object 292 here. And he's now backing up, so we're not going to get another shot on him. But we do find a Leopard, go for the kind of speculative shot since we're going to be reloaded so quick, and he's going to be behind that like pillar, so might as well go for it. I'm checking whether we can overmatch the Leopard here, which we can apparently, and then he's taken out quite swiftly after that. Object 292 can't quite get a shot. We find out where we can get a shot and then he moves away, so not a problem. We've got a heavy tank who's now pushing our teammate over there in the medium, and the M1A2 has 4 marks, I believe, from what I could see on the barrel, unless it's a skin which shows 3 marks or mark looking things on the barrel of that. Not entirely sure, but maybe we can get an up close look, and probably some of you who play Cold War might know a little bit more when it comes to that and the actual marks. I haven't actually gone for any marks within the Cold War game mode. You can see there we finish off this guy, or at least get the final full damaging hit, and we're up to 7,000 damage. But the game is far from over. We're actually down on tanks. I don't know how, because they pretty much YOLO'd into an open field. It seems like our team on the other side just sat there and got farmed, so not ideal. But what we can do is we can push over to where the last remaining tanks are. Now I'm highly debating whether or not to actually go down here, because we could go and help out that guy, but he gets taken out before we even get the opportunity. We've got an AMX40 and an Object 292 who's actually pushed down over there, but we can't get a shot because they're behind the ridge. Not great. And obviously our team are out in the open, just literally sat there getting farmed, so not a good situation either. But we do go for this little shot. You can see there we managed to go over the ridge, and you also use the gun depression there. We finish off the AMX 40, and then the M1A1 actually just YOLOs into our teammate. Not quite sure what that play was, but okay. Great way to throw away your tank. I'm not going to complain, especially when we're in this kind of close end game sort of position. Now you can see I'm tempted to go down. but I'm unsure. I want to go and help out our teammate, the M1 over here, who is in not a great position against 2 vehicles. The Object 292 somehow finishes off our vehicle. He's on about a 3 shot for most people in the game, and hopefully the team can actually finish him off before the game ends. We get a free one in between this building. It's a good spot. You can use it yourself. If you play in the game, you can get a nice shot into their base, especially campers who sit at the back. Now we need to get some damage on these guys, lower their hit points enough so that we can hopefully carry and win the game. This guy's side on, he misses us because we pulled just behind the building. We're going to actually aim here, just presuming that he's actually going to go forward. And then he actually does get spotted. We go for a shot, we hit the back of the turret and then it bounces. Brilliant, thank you very much. Could have done with that guy being out of the game. But there's still 4 vehicles, there's 2 on our team. I'm having issues actually just turning around. I'm holding my controller left and then it starts turning right again. It is an issue in console, it's been an issue for a while. I have no idea why that is still an issue, but okay. Now it's a 1 versus 4. God damn it. Really hope that someone would take out the Object 292 that's over here, which is a bit infuriating because it could have been really nice if that guy's gone. There is a Malo in the game, which is just basically a GG's. I'm not going to be able to take that thing out even on a ton of hit points because it's still got a lot of hit points itself. And of course penning that thing from the front with rounds that are standard in this game mode is just a pain in the ass. And in general in any tank, you can see here we're going for the side, we don't hit it. The Object 292 comes in, we get rid of him, and now it's the AMX-40 that we need to get rid of. We put 1 into him. And now we're just going to push the advantage. We're in a heavy, might as well get up close and personal. We bounce. Should have actually aimed that shot since it's quite a clutch situation. We put 1 more into him. And now he's on a decent chunk less damage or less health. And so are we, in all fairness. So not the best of trades, but I guess considering that there were 2 tanks fighting me at once, it was okay. But now we need to decide what we're going to do next. So in order to win 1 versus 4s, 1 versus 5s, you have to be a little bit unpredictable and do stuff that your opponents aren't going to necessarily predict. Often if you do predictable stuff in this sort of situation, multiple tanks will just charge you at the same time, which of course can lead with basically you getting hit 3 times for every time you can fire, and of course that doesn't end up very well. But we do find ourselves an Object 292, the guy that was taking out our team. He then kind of auto-aims, or at least aims at us. It hits the track, unlucky for him, because he's now out the game. Now I want to bait the opponents into thinking that I'm going to go over here. So well, that's what I was intending to do, but the AMX-40 comes down, which is not ideal. But we're down to 1500, he hits us again, now we're down to 1000, he hits our gun, which is not ideal. He breaks our gun, which means we can't fire and finish him off. So hopefully he bounces another one. We can't put our gun back in just yet, it actually gets repaired there, which means we can just basically hit him again. And there you go, we're now down to a 1 versus 1, but of course, a 1 versus 1 against the most broken tank in the game, the Malo, which after the update got a weird bug, I believe, whereby it was just getting penned through the front by everything. So that was nice. I don't think it's the same thing anymore. I think they've actually patched it, or done something with the vehicle so that doesn't happen anymore. It was a nice change to see the Malo getting pumped, at least for the slight time that we actually saw it. But instead now it's got broken armor, I can't actually pen it anywhere, even in the lower plate, which is basically an infinitesimally small lower plate weak point, even when you're in Cold War with the brilliant accuracy, when you're super close, even then it's very difficult to actually hit it, which is just, it's just a pain. And then it hits you for what, like 800, so I mean, you might as well stick your finger up your backside because there's nothing you can do really if you're on a one-on-one engagement. The only thing you can do is try and track it and get around the side of it, which of course is a difficult opportunity, especially when you're only on 1000 health and it could be anywhere. I'm starting to think that this guy may be going towards the cap circle, which he just about jumps in there, and that means that we are now going to have to push a guy that's in a cap circle in a tank that, when it is frontally facing you, is just a pain in the backside. And yeah, he spots us. We can't even outspot him here. Potentially what I could have done is gone on top of the hill, because we could have maybe outspotted him, but yeah, it's difficult, because maybe he hides behind the buildings, or maybe there's something he can hide behind and then we can't get a shot, and then he caps out the base, and then maybe we have to push in, and yeah, it could just be really, really bad. So what can we do? Well, maybe this is a misplay by actually pushing in here against the Malo, coming over to the right. I was hoping I could use the gun depression in this vehicle to actually be able to bounce around from the Malo and hopefully be able to take this guy out. So we're going quite slow, but we're trying to use the gun depression. We bounce off of the lower plate, which is brilliant. Can't actually pen the upper plate weak point, which is a minuscule thing anyway. And we can't pen him in the side. I'm trying now to go for a track, but unfortunately we don't manage to hit it, and then yeah, we're taken out by the most brain dead broken tank in the game, which is absolutely brilliant that Wargaming introduced it. But either way, we pick up 12.8 thousand damage in that game, and you can kind of see what this tank can do. When it's firing consistently, it is incredibly good. It's not broken. It's definitely not broken. Its armor isn't particularly great, and it definitely suits someone that is well versed in playing medium tanks, and the faster medium tanks at that, and it really does feel quite nice. We did block quite a lot of damage as well, because people auto-aiming most likely, and the auto-aim ricochet angles on this thing are pretty good as well. So it's kind of a good combination of a tank that can kind of combat the auto-aim spam by a lot of vehicles. So I really enjoyed playing it. I thought it was a brilliant addition, and I think it's actually brilliant that it's part of the free, at least you can get it for free as part of the season pass if you pay the 2,000 gold, but then you get your 2,000 gold back plus extra gold, so probably you're actually getting paid to get this vehicle in terms of the gold value. Obviously you're not getting actual money in real life, but you know, I'm not expecting Wargaming to do that. We all know what this game is like, so yeah, any free gold is always an advantage, and when you get a tank like this at the end of it, I actually think it was a brilliant addition, and I think yeah, a really, really fun one. Actually makes me want to play Cold War just to play this vehicle, which is definitely going to be one of my staples of when I want to earn a bit of money and play a vehicle that I enjoy playing on Cold War. Definitely a fun one, and of course, hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to like it, and of course let me know in the comment section down below what you think of this vehicle, at least from what you've seen, or maybe you've actually gone ahead and spent a ton of money to be able to get to rank 100 instantly. Don't recommend ever doing that. Trust me, please do not spend your money skipping to rank 100 from the beginning of the season. It's not worth it. It's super easy to complete the season if you play at least remotely often. So yeah, hopefully you enjoyed. Let me know in the comment section down below what you want to see next, and I will see you in the next one. Have a great rest of the day, and I will see you there. Goodbye.